Why are the fairies of the Watchers scary? Why are they not like Tinkerbell? In this episode, we will dive deep into Irish folklore to understand who these fairies are, what happened to them, why they are hideous, and why they live underground. West Ireland has a rich folklore of fairies, and these magical beings come in different forms. In ancient legends, fairies can refer to tiny pixies with colorful wings, or they can be tall creatures with immense power, magic, and a serious lack of humor. It is the latter that the movie, The Watchers, used as a basis for its monsters. These fairies are the Tuatha De Danann, or the people of Danu. They were the original inhabitants of Ireland and were like gods. In pre-Christian Ireland, the Tuatha De Danann, or the tribe of the gods, were often depicted as kings and queens. Some of them can be bards, warriors, and healers. They are intellectually superior to humans and they possess supernatural powers. The most prominent of them are Dagda, or the Great God, the Morrigan, or the Great Queen, also called the Phantom Queen, Dianchek the Healer, and Goibniu the Smith. Although the Tuatha De Danann lived in the other world, they interacted with humans and shared their knowledge. Humans believe that the burial mounds in Ireland, such as the Brú na Boine, are entrances to the other world. In the movie, these entrances are changed into burrows. In Irish folktale, these mounds are closed and inaccessible. The Tuatha De Danann were said to have descended from the mother goddess Danu, and that they came to Ireland in dark clouds. They taught humans their skills in the sciences, arts, and magic. One day, the Milesians came to Ireland from the northwest Iberian Peninsula and wanted to occupy the Irish lands. The gods refused, and a war broke out. The three kings of the Tuatha De Danann asked the Milesians for a truce of 3 days, which they accepted. The invaders retreated to their ships. However, the Tuatha De Danann created a magical storm, hoping to drive the invaders away. The Milesian hero Amergin calmed the sea with his magic. Betrayed, they attacked the Tuatha De Danann relentlessly and won. Amergin was then called upon to divide the land between the Tuatha De Danann and his people, the Milesians. Being a clever man, he declared that the portion above ground would belong to the Milesians, and the portion underground would belong to the Tuatha De Danann. The Milesians are now what we call the Celts. To survive underground, the Tuatha De Danann used their magical abilities to become the Aishi, or She, which now translates to the word fairy. The She is not only a winged pixie, as they are also referred to as little people or wee folk. In the human world, anything indescribable or incomprehensible is often attributed to these magical creatures who live underground. For example, people who disappeared were often said to have been kidnapped by fairies. Bad luck and illness are also often blamed on fairies. Centuries passed, and the humans learned how to appease the fairies with offerings. Extra care is needed so as not to insult them or bad things will happen. Legends generally describe the fairies to be beautiful. However, some stories depict them to be hideous. This is the version we see in The Watchers. The fairies are said to be very fierce guardians of their homes. Fairy mounds and fairy trees are sacred. Infringing these places will cause the fairies to retaliate and give lessons to the human violators. These tales contribute to the myth of the changeling. In pre-Christian Ireland, people believed that the fairies replaced their human children with changelings as a punishment for transgressing the fairies' homes. A changeling is a human-like creature that serves as a substitute for the child that the fairies kidnapped. Sometimes a changeling can be a piece of wood sculptured to look like a human being. More often, the changeling is an old fairy who has the power to look like the kidnapped child. Once a changeling replaces a child, the original human is now gone, assumed to have been taken to the other world. Humans can identify a changeling in many ways. For example, this child suddenly becomes sickly or unresponsive. The child may also not grow like normal people. Some children may have unusual conditions, like buck teeth, or have a mustache at an early age. Some children may display an unusual level of intelligence. Anything unusual about a child makes parents think that who they are looking at now is not their real child, but a changeling. Today, in modern times, we know that these children are not changelings. They are probably genetically different. Some may have autism, Down syndrome, or any special condition. The changelings, in the modern interpretation of history, represent the ignorance and mindset of ancient people and how they deal with surviving if there is a severe lack of resources. In pre-industrial Europe, the survival of the family depends on each member's labor or contribution. A special child, therefore, is considered a burden. In most legends, a changeling is said to have a ravenous appetite, and this can negatively impact the family's food reserves. As a result, the family has no other course of action but to put down the changeling and bury it. That is the end of the story. But before you go, did you know that there is a plot hole in The Watchers? Click this video if you want to learn more about it. Also, if you have not seen the movie yet, I have a movie summary that you can watch now. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.